Good evening, and welcome to another issue or edition of Coffee Talk. This is Coffee Talk number 403, 7 p.m. Central Time, Monday, February the 24th, 2025. Uncle Al, Die Bullfrog 79. Thank you for coming, Uncle Al. Pre-retirement days, comfort foods, and more. And the countdown continues. I was Enrique Trevino. Hello, Mr. Trevino. I was talking to a young lady today in a position of authority up the chain of command, and I was explaining to her about the situation with retirement and the situation with Social Security. That's something I probably could do. Is I probably could do a pretty good job talking to people about education and what you have to look forward to when you retire from education. Little Lone Prepper. Hello, Little Lone Prepper. And Idaho Garden Girl. Hello, Idaho Garden Girl. Five in the house, 7 likes. I mean, I could talk about retirement and benefits and Social Security and all that sort of stuff. I don't figure you want to hear me talk about that. If you do, please tell me. Get a lawyer and read the SSI handbook. KP Heathen, how's it going? I got my notification, my annual notification from Social Security. Full retirement is now age 67. Used to be age 65. Early retirement used to be age 62. Full retirement is now age 67. Oh, Devil Dog Prepper did his unboxing. Well, that's good. He told me he had sent me a text message about, that he hadn't done it yet, but he was going to do it, and and I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure it was a good one. Melinda Elliott. Hello, Melinda. See Michelle Mitten Prepper video. Well, I will say I have been advised by my call him mentor, consultant, what you want to call him. He told me talk about evacuations. Talk about what do you do, and where do you go, and where do you not go? So I will tell you, this business is about you're going to bug out to the woods, right? Not going to last long bugging out to the woods. What happens if there's a forest fire? Uh, Out in California, where they have lots of forest fires, wouldn't advise anybody to bug out to the woods. uh, Michelle got slammed by the government. Well, evacuation preparedness. Do you know how to do basic vehicle maintenance? That is a good point. Do you know how to do basic vehicle maintenance? I will tell you, my wife is my mechanic. She's the one that checks all the fluids, and uh, she's a little woman, but she's good with that kind of stuff. And then I have to hear about it. um, she's always going and buying all the fluids and making sure that everything's copacetic. Our vehicles are older. My my Jimmy is a 1999. It's a classic. It's 26 years old. A little right at 200,000 miles. Runs, knock on wood, runs really well. Keep good tires on it. I keep it maintained. I've had work done to it. Haven't had to replace the engine yet. I'm thinking about something happens to it, I'll just pay and put a new engine in it. You know, it's a nice vehicle, older vehicle. I'm old school. It looks good. Nice older vehicle. Yeah, I'm old school. 7 watching and 9 likes. Change a flat tire. I will tell you, you're going to change a flat tire, you better have a good jack. You better have a good jack. I'll give you a little hint. Like you go off the side of the road, you got soft, you got soft soil or whatever. Take a little piece of wood with you, a little piece of a 1x or 2x, and when you go to jack that thing up, put the jack on that piece of wood to jack it up, and it'll keep it from sinking down. If you just put the jack in the dirt, it's going to want to sink down into it. Whereas if you put a piece of wood down, you have a little block of wood, in your trunk or wherever you have your jack, put that block of wood down and then put the jack on top of it, and it will keep it from sinking down, and that way you can get the thing up. My sister-in-law, was it my sister-in-law? It's been 6 or 7 years ago, I guess. I was up in northeast Texas with the wife visiting her family, and one of her relatives had a flat, and she was over on the side of the road, and it was a smaller car, and it was one of these smaller tires, smaller jacks, and she was off the side of the road, and it was soft, and she didn't have she didn't have a wood block or anything, and I was not in my vehicle when we went to go and help her to go change the tire. I wasn't in my vehicle, and I was trying one of these things like where you got a, and it sort of goes up like this. It was sinking down, and I could not get high enough up to where I could get the tire off. I could not get it high enough up to get the flat tire off. Well, actually, I got the flat tire off, but I could not get the spare on. I couldn't get high enough up to get the spare on, and that was not a good situation. It was not a good situation. And you need a good jack. You need a strong jack, something that'll get you up in the air. You need a block of wood, as far as changing tires. Yes, it will certainly do that for slopes. That's correct. Hello, mom of 4 boys. Rachel. Scissor jacks for lower vehicles. Floor jacks or bottle jacks for higher vehicles. A floor jack. Now they don't come. Uh, Usually, when you have a car, it usually doesn't have a very good jack. You want to you probably want to upgrade and change that jack out. Go to Harbor Freight. You can get you a nice, floor jack where you can. Yeah, you want a good quality. You want a good quality jack that'll take care of business. You certainly do. 6 in the house, 9 likes. Fixing dinner. I understand. Yes, you want to you don't want to go cheap on either one of those. You don't want cheap lug wrench, and you damn sure don't want a cheap jack. Nope, 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 nope. You know, it's just fine until you have to use it. And if you have to use it and you don't have decent, you will rue the day, or you'll be wanting to call somebody to come over and do it, for you. So, um, out in California, they had to do a lot of evacuating here recently. They'll go through and they'll have a vehicle go through the neighborhood, loudspeaker, and then they have reason. They go door to door. Excuse me. They'll go door to door. And when they tell you to evacuate, you evacuate, or they will help you evacuate. They don't play. If they feel like your life is in danger, they will take you into custody to make sure you evacuate. Look at the LA fires. And there were people who died from the LA fires. In California, Uncle Al tells me that rescues are not free. If they have to go in and they have to rescue you, if they have to do an airlift, a helicopter lift, it's $30,000-$40,000 for them to fly you out. If you're someplace and they're trying to get you out of, you got imminent danger. It's not cheap. Rescue by fire and rescue crews, it could be 40 grand. Failure to understand this can land you arrested and in jail time. They will charge you. They will charge you for their time. They will charge you for having to do a rescue. It's like a halo flight. Somebody's in a real bad wreck, and imminent threat of death, and instead of taking you in an ambulance, you're out in the boonies, and they do a halo flight to a hospital. That can be $75,000-$80,000. For a halo flight. Matter of fact, they sell special insurance that you're out in the rural area. They will sell insurance for that. An elderly person, something happens, they call in a halo flight, insurance for that. Something that take that in consideration. Buying space. Myra, hello. Yep, nothing is free in California. That is true. And that is another one. I agree with you, Uncle Al. Get a full-size tire. Don't use one of those little nuts. One of those little donut tires. You don't want to do that. You want to get a full-size tire. It's bad when it's Monday and you're saying, is it Friday yet? Drink all your drink and then you got ice. That ice melts, makes good cold ice water. In Florida, if you don't leave for a hurricane, they will not come fly you out. They will not risk the lives of the first responders for people that don't listen. Well, I don't blame them. I wouldn't want to. I do not blame them. Also, Florida is a red state. Red state. Uh, you talk about. I always talk about the scout motto. I was a scout, and I was a Weeblo scout, and then I was in the Boy Scouts. Weeblos are the younger ones. Our uniforms is sort of like the Cub Scouts were blue, as opposed to the Boy Scouts. Um, I learned quite a bit in scouting. Then my father passed away, and when I was 14, and I didn't get to finish. You they got different. I was like tenderfoot going into something else. Type of thing. And I learned quite a bit between my father and my uncle and scouting. I learned quite a bit. And you work on badges, you work on patches, you know, and I really enjoyed that time. And I really recommend it. From back in the day, I recommend it. Today, with all of the issues that they've had, I don't know that I would recommend scouting. Um, they passed, Trump signed an executive order, and I don't know if it's going to be put through Congress, but there was an executive order declaring DEI discrimination. I think Pam Bondi's going to do something with that, the Attorney General. But they were going to, they had declared DEI to be discriminatory, which I think is a good deal. The idea of preferences and all that stuff. I think it should be based on merit. I think most things should be based on merit. Um, MSNBC has started cleaning house. They have let some of their serious woke loudmouth um, show hosts go. Uh, I've been watching some shorts. They're having fun about them crying, and they're crying over there. They're being let go and they're crying. They're complaining and they're crying. And breaks my heart. Breaks my heart. Or should I say, it does my heart good? I don't know. You hate to see people lose jobs, but these are rich people. These are millionaires. You know, when you're getting paid, $1 million+ a year, and you've been doing it for 8 or 10 years, trust me, you're rich. If they let you go, you're going to be fine. You know, you're going to be fine. You're not going hungry. Um, they're trying to drifting, really drift away, drift away. Governor Ron is complaining the president is not tough enough on the immigrants. Fort Myers, Florida is now a ghost town. Yes, yes. I did not mention the name, but Uncle Al said Joy Reid. Yes, Joy Reid. Yes. She's got hair like me. Have you noticed her? She's got a nice head of skin. Now, me, I'm bald. I have male pattern baldness. She may have what's called propecia, where you lose hair in patches. So, because it looks nasty, they go ahead and shave it. That might be her issue. We have a lot of stupid people that abuse the system. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. I'm trying to be, I'm not politically correct, but I'm trying to be a little more sensitive as to what I say. I'm trying to avoid as much as possible hurt. I mean, I laugh, and I find certain things gratuitous, but I'm not trying to be hurtful. Um, and then I'm accused of being. I'm thinking about what should I say and what should I not say, and then I'm told drifting. You're drifting. Well, I'm drifting. I reminisce a lot. A lot of my musings and a lot of the stuff that I talk about, it's something triggers a memory of how things used to be, and then you see how things are now, and then I tend to relate and I tend to talk about that. So they talk a lot about Ronald Reagan. Rush Limbaugh, may he rest in peace. He really talked about Reagan and the defeat of communism, and what Reagan did, and then firing the air traffic controllers and such. Reagan didn't go after the deep state. Ronald Reagan did not go after the deep state. He did wonderful things. He was an outstanding president. Um, best president in the latter half of the 20th century. Great president. But I'm sorry to say I put Trump ahead of him. I put Trump ahead of him. And one of the reasons I put Trump ahead of him is that Trump has really sacrificed a lot. Okay, yeah, he was a big media mogul, The Apprentice, and all the stuff that he did, and his real estate empire, and billionaire. You know, he is born with a silver spoon in his mouth, and he has really come along. True Social, um, he's got what $5 billion worth of stock in that. As far as his value went up. When he went public. He's a great guy. He really is. He donates his, you don't hear him talk about it, but he donates his salary. When he was president the last time for 4 years, every quarter he would choose a different charity and he would donate his salary. He was not receiving money from the government. You think he got credit for that? Do you think anybody gave him credit for that? You think they give him credit? He's doing the same thing right now. Do you think they're giving him credit for that? My grandfather used to always say, don't put yourself in a situation that someone is going to have to die to get you out of. Yes, Reagan had more charisma than Trump. That is true. Well, for one thing, remember Trump is from New York. He's up there. He's like up in New York and New Jersey. They're not as polished. The way that they speak. He's not as polished, but he's down to earth. He's got a good heart and he's down to earth. Reagan had been an actor. Reagan was an actor, and he's out west. Times were a little bit different, and he had been president of the Screen Actors Guild. He'd been governor of California. He he was a great man, great president. He's right up there towards the top. Yes, he was an actor. And that's another thing. Like we talk about if we go to war. Okay, so if the old men start a war, who do you think's going to fight it? They're not fighting it. You think their sons are going to fight it? Do you think that rich people's kids are going to fight the war? They're going to have deferment. Or if they're in the military, they're not going to be in a combat role. You know. So I don't think, all this BS that's going on, overseas, it's not worth us getting the war over. You think Ukraine is worth us possibly getting into a nuclear war with Russia over that? What do you think Russia's going to do? NATO. Do you think Russia could? Russia is everything that they can do right now with Ukraine. They're occupying about 20% of the country. Okay? What do you think Russia would do against NATO? How do you think Russia would fight NATO? You think that would be an offensive war? They've got air assets, and they've got missiles. They've got a pretty good submarine fleet. What do you think Russia would have to fight NATO? Not mentioning the United States. Let's just say they have to fight the EU. The United States stays out of it. You think Russia could fight the EU? What do you think is going to happen when a couple of thousand modern tanks roll into Russia? How are they going to stop them? Let's just say Poland goes after them. The Poles don't care for the Russians. What if the Poles go after them? What do you think the Russians are going to do? I see them using tactical nukes. And once you start using nukes, what do you think the French and the British are going to do? What do you think they're going to do? And then when they retaliate and they're probing deeper into Russia, well, then Russia's going to start taking out cities. They're going to pick 2 or 3 cities to take out. How do you think they're going to like it if St. Petersburg and, say, Moscow get nuked? They, drop a nuke on a couple of European capitals? And what do you think is going to happen with, when Russia goes up? Oh, Putin will be in a bunker someplace. He'll be off someplace hiding in a bunker. You think the Russian kids, young people, you think they deserve to die? Do you think the French deserve to die? Do you think the Germans deserve to die? Do you think any of that's worth any of that? Putin's past 70. And he's got delusions of grandeur. He wants to rebuild the Soviet Union, Not necessarily as a communist country, but communist control, but he wants to rebuild. He misses the Soviet Union. Yeah, he was, and a lot of that stuff is coming out. The Clintons, yes. Yep. Truthfully, truth. Y'all are speaking the truth. Belinda's Country Living. Hello, Belinda. I have 2 kids. Do you think I'd want to sacrifice one of my kids to a stupid war? Mine are daughters, mid-20s. You think I want to sacrifice one of my kids to a stupid war? I understand World War II. I really didn't understand Korea. I didn't understand Vietnam. I really didn't understand World War One. World War II, I understood. I understood us being involved in World War II. Joseph Moore. Hello, Joseph. Thank you for coming. Please leave a like to support the channel. Ten in the house, 12 likes. Jimmy Cricket. Okay. Um. So I did a short on the chickens, the chicks, a week old. Well, one of them died. I think one of the reasons you have that situation is they're not warm enough. We're supposed to keep them at 90 degrees. We're using a heat lamp. They're inside, central heat, running. It's cold outside. We're going to have to keep them in that cage that we have set up for them probably for about a month before we put them out in the condo. The ones that are in the condo are going to go into the main coop. You know, and I told the wife that when we get that situation straightened out, we'll get another dozen and put them in the cage so we can, you know. And we're getting a lot of eggs. We're getting lots of eggs. And eggs are very expensive right now. Eggs are very expensive. And looking at freeze dried, you get freeze dried eggs. Um, you're looking at about $1 an egg when you're talking freeze dried, because freeze dried is very expensive. So you go and buy freeze dried, you're talking right at $1 an egg. Right now, an 18 pack is about $7.50. If you're actually just going out and buying eggs, you go buy an 18 pack of large eggs. Right now, over at Walmart, where I'm at in Victoria, Texas, it's about $7.50. You get organic eggs, like a dozen organic eggs, and it's $8. And then if you want to look at buying, free range eggs or whatever, somebody's selling eggs because they got chickens. You're looking 3.50, maybe $4. For a dozen eggs. So, you're talking 50 cents a piece versus $1 a piece, type of thing. And like when you start talking about freeze dried, well, an egg is about 80 calories to an egg. So whenever I get an egg plate, I like 3 eggs. My wife likes 3 eggs. So normally you go and you buy a plate, it's usually 2 eggs. You can get a 3 egg plate, and we'll ask for a 3 egg plate. So you're talking about 3 eggs. So 3 eggs is about 240 calories. And you normally like grits, get grits. If you're doing Mexican food, you're getting like potatoes and refried beans and potatoes, and then you may get some sort of meat. And I like biscuits. If I'm eating eggs and grits, I like biscuits. Put a little butter and maybe a little bit of